You, me, and HIFMB. Stories of Science and the Sea.
Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of the HIFMB-Podcast. I'm very excited to present this to you. My name is Jan-Claas Dajka. I'm an interdisciplinary postdoc working in the interface between marine governance and marine biodiversity. HIFMB stands for the Helmholtz Institute for Functional Marine Biodiversity, and we're a small but very rapidly growing research institution in the north of Germany, in Oldenburg. And because we are so rapidly growing, I want to get into the premise of this show. We want to highlight the unique lives of the people working here and the work that they're doing. We just want to give you an inside scoop in a little bit of a different format rather than scientific publications. We give it to you in this podcast. It's going to be a quick 30 to 40 minute conversation with the other person where I talk about one of the recent research pieces that they've put out or are working on right now and their lives through their academic career. And in the first episode, I interviewed Josie Antonucci Di Carvalho, who is working on harmonizing phytoplankton monitoring in the Wadden Sea, which is part of the North Sea. And it's governed by Netherlands, Germany, and Denmark, and it's not uniformly monitored. And Josie is working on rectifying that problem. Josie is also a part-time zookeeper, which is super interesting, and has been in and out of academia back and forth, but has been doing so successfully, and I really want to highlight her diverse way through academic life. So with that, I give you Josie Antonucci Di Carvalho. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to our first guest on the HIFMB podcast, Josie Antonucci Di
Carvalho.
That's the one. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. So, Josie, you're the first guest on the podcast, and your name is quite a mouthful. It's Brazilian and Italian?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say Antonucci
Yeah.
is the Italian part, of course, and Di Carvalho, Brazilian.
Yeah.
More Portuguese, yes.
But you grew up in Brazil.
I grew up in Brazil and I don't know one word in Italian. I mean, I do, mangiare,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Perfect.
But yeah, I have relatives in Italy.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do here at HIFMB?
So now I'm a postdoc at the HIFMB. I work in a project called INTERREG project between Germany and the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a water quality project, and I'm doing this research until June. This project is until June this year, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And I also work in a wildlife station
Oh, right.
part-time.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yes.
For the INTERREG project, so I just looked it up, and INTERREG is a European Union subsidy program to support cross-border cooperation between countries.
Exactly.
And that's Germany and the Netherlands, you said?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. So this project, the purpose of the project is mainly to harmonize the assessment of phytoplankton and therefore eutrophication in the Wadden Sea,
Mm-hmm.
including the German part and the Dutch part.
Yeah. Maybe for everyone or anyone who doesn't know, the Wadden Sea is part of the North Sea in Europe and borders 3 countries, the Netherlands, Germany, and Denmark.
Exactly. So it's the coastal waters of the North Sea. So we say, and it's a little bit weird, but we say is the southern part of the North Sea.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And yeah, it's included in the World Heritage UNESCO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As a natural heritage site.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
With biodiversity, very rich in diversity.
Yeah. So and for the phytoplankton assessment, you're trying to harmonize it on. So what's going wrong or what's not working?
Yeah. So under the Water Framework Directive, the last assessment, water quality assessment, was not satisfactory under the Water Framework Directive.
Mm-hmm.
Since the Germany and the Netherlands, they have different approach how to look into eutrophication, and the assessments were not harmonized.
Yeah.
And that's why we started this project
Mm-hmm.
to harmonize the assessment between the countries,
and
also to include a new approach in how to look into eutrophication, because before they used to use only a proxy of phytoplankton. So they used to look only into chlorophyll A.
How do you collect that with like, do they collect it with planes or?
The chlorophyll
or how do they get the readings on chlorophyll?
Yeah, it depends. That's one part of the harmonization, because they have different ways of sampling and collecting information. So that's one part of that needs to be harmonized. I cannot say exactly. They have different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
And another part of harmonizing is the sampling of phytoplankton species. Depends on how deep they collect the samples and which part of the day, in which light conditions and so on. So that also should be harmonized. And how the data is being analyzed also. This is also different between the two countries. For example, Germany, they counted the individuals, the phytoplankton species, and they also measured the size of the cells. And the Dutch monitoring program, they only counted the cells. So they did not measure. So you don't, they only use literature values for the volume of the cell. So for the German part, you have a trend. So you can really look into the cell size over time. And in the Dutch part, you can't. You only have the abundance, so the number of individuals over time, not really the size of the cells.
Right. Okay. And how's the harmonization going?
What's very interesting in this process is exactly that, finding these differences in the monitoring programs between the countries, and this is being very, very important, because at the end of this project, we will be able to at least make some suggestions and recommendations how these programs should be done, and how important are the monitoring programs, of course, to have a better understanding of the system. How is it going now is we have some challenges, of course, because it's two different countries with and we work with monitoring data, time series data for more than 20 years. So we also have these differences over time happening, and differences between countries happening. So it's a challenge, but it's going well.
And once you have Germany and Netherlands harmonized, will you then turn your attention to Denmark, or is that? Do you know what's happening there?
That would be an option, yes. But so far, I think is big enough, the project between two countries. Good would be, of course, to harmonize and have a harmonized protocol or a harmonized way of assessing water quality, at least in the entire Europe.
Josie the Harmoniser.
Josie the Hopefully.
Okay, sweet. So you said you're doing that until June 2022?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's the idea is until the project's until June 2022.
Yeah, this year.
This year,
yes.
Exactly. Yeah, after that, or now, is also there is a possibility to still staying, continue staying here at the HIFMB, starting a project.
Yeah.
Working with marine protected areas.
Okay.
So that would be a possibility. And
have you done any work on MPAs or marine protected areas before? Or
no.
Okay.
No, that would be the first time.
Yeah.
But at least it's also in the North Sea, so the area would be not different from what I'm working already.
Yeah. Are you going to harmonize the MPAs?
No. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So there's a possibility that we're going to have you for a bit longer.
There is this possibility, yes. Okay. Hopefully it's going to work out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And looking a bit into your life, you're like a super international person. You like we said, half Brazil, half Italy. So how did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
Yes. So I grew up in Brazil, and I did my graduation there in biology. And during my graduation, a professor offered me an internship here in Germany.
Where did you do your which uni was it in Brazil?
In Brazil, it's called it was in the state of Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
It's called Federal University of Rio de Janeiro.
Can you say that in Portuguese?
Oh, so the Universidade Federal Fluminense.
I can't. Oh, I can't.
Uh,
I won't try to say that again.
Yeah, please, you should try. So that's where I did my graduation and also my master's.
Right.
And yeah, during my graduation, this professor offered me to come to Germany because he knew a professor here, and work with in a wildlife for a month. So just to have some experiences in working with wildlife.
But you hadn't worked with wildlife before?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, my graduation, my research during my graduation was with poisoned animals. So spiders, scorpions, and snakes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was working institute to produce the anti...
the anti-venom?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
right. Do you know how to milk snakes and all
Yes.
that? Ooh,
So
interesting.
it was for 2 years I worked there, and very, very interesting job.
Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah. It was an internship. I did it. Instituto Vital Brasil is the name. And we worked with the most poison snakes
Are they
in Brazil.
Okay, all right. What's the most poisonous snake or
So,
venomous? Is it?
yeah, we have the coral. Oh my God, I won't remember the Latin name now, but it's coral.
Yeah, okay.
It's the one that's red, black, and white.
Oh,
Got
yeah,
this-
with the stripes?
Yeah, exactly.
Banded something. Snake.
Bandit. Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's a jungle snake though, right?
jungle snake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But the accidents with those snakes are not very common because they have the teeth, like the teeth behind, not really in front of the mouth.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and that this makes like more difficult to inject the poison in the prey.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the poison is really strong. It's really toxic.
Okay.
I would say. Yeah.
All right. I just remember a scene from Jurassic Park 2 where the
Where
where the banded tree snake crawls into a guy's
I don't
shirt and then he gets eaten by a T-Rex, which is not much better.
Oh, I don't remember that.
No.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, that's my experience with that snake. So.
Okay. Yeah, quite interesting job.
Yeah.
I had nightmares
You did?
always. Yes,
Okay.
because was very interesting because you could not go to work if you had any, if you were sad or if you had any disappointment during the day or anything, because you really had to work on your best fit.
Yeah.
You really had to be fit for the job. Pay attention.
Yeah. Milking snakes all
Yeah.
day. Was it just snakes or spiders and scorpions
Ju-
also?
My sector or my part was only snakes.
Only snakes, okay. So you don't know how to milk a spider?
No. No,
Maybe
not
next.
possible. No. Snakes were enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but very, very nice.
And then moving on in the timeline of Josie?
Yeah, so during this time, I came to Germany and I did this internship here in a wildlife station in Sachsenhagen.
Yeah, where is that?
Sachsenhagen is here actually in the north, close to Hanover.
Ah, okay.
It's a village, and yeah, I came for a month and was the first time living in Brazil, so going abroad.
When was that? In 2011?
20, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, 2011, and very interesting experience since I didn't know German and neither English. But the opportunity was so great
Yeah?
that I just accepted and was quite interesting, like learning that Germans, I thought when I arrived at the station that Germans only drink beer because
That's what we do.
at the fridge there was only beer and no water, and I was wondering how they don't drink water then,
Yeah.
until I learned that there is the tap and you can drink tap
that's right.
water.
Yeah,
Yes, in Brazil we can't.
Only bottled water.
Only.
Okay.
So I stay one day without drinking water or drinking at all.
Oh God. Until somebody told you.
Yeah, until
you can not drink beer. You can also just drink water from the tap.
Yeah, exactly. And also eating was actually 2 days without drinking and eating because there was nobody at the station.
Jeez, okay.
In the middle of nowhere. Because the veterinarian that was the owner of the place, he left me there.
Okay.
And
because he didn't want to talk to you.
No, he said I will return in 2 days because it's weekend.
Oh, okay. Oh shit. Okay.
Yes. And
right.
I stayed there with the Fojotla.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Freiwilliges ökologisches Jahr in German, so voluntary ecological year. It's You can. It's like a gap year in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I think
it's super interesting.
Super
I did it as well. Yeah,
you did.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, Instead, but when I was growing up, we still had to do conscription, so army service, and as a replacement for that, you can do other things, like social engagement, and I did that. So voluntary ecological year instead of army service.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wish we would have that in Brazil. No, we don't. But
no.
It's very, very interesting, yes.
Maybe you can harmonize the programs.
The programs for Jota, Brazil, Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Sweet.
Ideas.
And then back to Brazil after that?
Back to Brazil, and certain that I really want to work in a wildlife station.
Mm-hmm.
But...
what did you work with here? What
here?
Yeah, triggered you to wanting to do that?
When I was here, everything was just so perfect. This wildlife station had a lot of investments from, I would say, public service and
public sectors.
And from this Action Tier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
the organization.
Yeah, it's another. I'm not sure if they're an NGO or if they're government funded.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
but they still exist, and they have a lot of investments, and I was very amazed how good a wildlife station could work, and how good it is to support also the population that finds animals or abandoned or injured and so on, and they just bring to the station and we do the rehabilitation work.
Anything?
Anything.
Or only native species?
Anything. At this station was anything wild, of course, not pets, but only wild animals, anything.
Yeah. So if they find an abandoned tree snake, then they won't bring it there.
They could, yeah.
Okay.
Everything that's wild.
Oh, okay.
But also, for example, boas, the snakes, boa constrictor, that people sometimes have as pets.
Yeah.
And
then if that escapes, they don't bring
they
them.
escape, or if they cannot take care anymore, they can bring also.
Yeah, okay.
They have to pay, I think, for 3 months. I don't know about this station, but I think they have to pay a little bit.
Yeah.
That we get the animal, and then we just take care.
And what do you do with it then?
Yeah, if it's not native, we keep, or we try to replace it to donate to a zoo.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends a lot because some animals they don't have paper. Like registration.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then you cannot really donate or,
Okay.
So, spenden.
Donate. Spenden in German.
Yeah.
Josie speaks very good German. It's very impressive.
Ein bisschen.
Yeah.
Kostenlos.
Yeah. So, and okay, yeah, sorry, I interrupted the story there. So, back to Brazil, 2011.
Yeah, exactly. Back to Brazil, and certain that I want to work in a wildlife station, but in Brazil things are very different. So here I had this amazing impression that everything worked very well, and the animals had a lot of investment. In Brazil, we also have these wildlife stations, but things are very different. These wildlife stations are from the state, belonging to the state.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, conditions are precary, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Not quite often the animals don't have medicaments or even people to really work, because we have many animals in need in these stations, so it's overpopulated, the stations. Populated. And it was very disappointing to return to Brazil and aiming for these kind of jobs. That's why I decided to invest more in the academic career.
Okay. And then
but still keeping my a little bit of time, at least volunteering in these wildlife stations.
Yeah. Okay, so you kept volunteering throughout stations in Brazil.
Yeah, I went back to Brazil, and I actually started to work in a wildlife station there.
Yeah.
And which was really nice. And at the same time, I decided to apply so I did my master's while working in the wildlife station.
Yeah.
And my master's, the project was very interesting also. It was a project with birds and bird strikes. So
bird strikes in Brazil.
In Brazil,
Okay.
yes. So we did an investigation why there were a lot of bird strikes in a nearby airport in Brazil with vulture.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I didn't even know you had them over in Brazil.
Yes, we do. The black one, the black vulture. We have other species, of course, of vulture, but the biggest problem there were with an owl.
Yeah.
That breeds on the floor.
Okay.
And the vulture and another bird species.
Yeah.
And the idea was to investigate why these birds were there nearby the airport and causing many accidents with the airplanes.
Yeah.
Where was army airport.
Yeah. Okay.
Not commercial. Yeah. So that was very, very interesting, because we found out that there were many garbage spots nearby the airport, and so that were illegal, of course, because in a radius of 20 kilometers from the airport, you cannot have any.
Yeah, and that attracts the vultures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're massive birds. I mean, if that's a bird strike happening,
yes,
danger.
Many bad situations happen.
Yeah.
So
where are we right now situated in Brazil? So we're still in Rio de Janeiro? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Still in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah. This was in a city called São Pedro da Aldeia. Yeah. So it's still there when I was still living in Niterói, where the university is. Yeah. The federal. Yes. So continuing this timeline.
Yeah, continue the timeline.
Good. After the master's, I decided to apply for a PhD abroad. And I want to do a PhD in conservation. So I found a project in Austria, in Salzburg.
How was your English or German at that time? Did you...
the German, null.
Null? Zero.
The German, very null. And the English, yes, was, I mean...
Was your course in English? Your master's course?
No, my master's, no. But before that, actually, I went to New Zealand to...
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for English course. So I spent 2 to 3 months, I guess, doing my master's.
Where did you go in New Zealand?
Auckland.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
Very nice. Yeah.
In what year was that?
This was 2013, I guess.
13, okay.
Yeah, 13. So it was the second year of my master's.
Yeah, and then you applied for the PhD position right after your master's.
Yeah, before I was still in New Zealand, and I already applied.
Oh right, okay. But did you only go for the Austria position, or was there any reason why?
I also went for a position in Hanover. Actually, this PhD that I applied it's a program in Brazil called Science Without Borders.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Like Doctors Without Borders or anything
like
without borders.
like Erasmus. I
Yeah,
would say
yeah,
that
okay.
they have this partnership between different countries.
Mm-hmm.
So Brazil had a partnership. You could find some universities that were included in this Science Without Borders in Brazil. Some universities abroad.
Yeah.
And one university was the University of Salzburg, and there were many other universities, but I looked for a university where you could do conservation projects, work with conservation projects. And there were one in Hanover and one in Salzburg. So I applied for both.
Sweet.
And I got the one in Salzburg with the Professor Steve Wickham from Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. And we developed a project. So the PhD was with theoretical ecology, where I was working with eutrophication, fragmentation, and warming, so anthropogenic threats.
And is the eutrophication link what got you into this position here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Because this gave me some experiences, of course, with nutrients and so on. But the PhD was mainly theoretical approach. So we did some experiments to analyze the impact of those threats that I mentioned in biodiversity. Yeah. Working with model organisms, so working with algae and phytoplankton and zooplankton. Yeah, so there was a big change from birds and wildlife to phytoplankton, zooplankton, and lab. Because before I was mainly outside.
Yeah, do you like lab work? Because I'm not a big fan of it, of the very stringent work, and you spend 8 hours and then you did one thing wrong and then all those 8 hours are wasted.
No. Honestly, I also don't see myself in the lab much. No. Yeah.
Good.
Was interesting the PhD because I could develop my own ideas of the experiment and really work on my own and was interesting because of that. So I had a room where I could do my things, put in practice my ideas.
But I can see you doing that. I mean, I've so for anyone who doesn't know, or for everybody, I don't think anyone knows. We've worked together quite a bit now, and like when you write R code, for instance, it's so nicely written that everybody can follow it. It's so good, and I can see you being in the lab and being super diligent and like, this is the perfect cooking recipe that you write there. It's awesome.
That's amazing to know. Yes, it's mainly that's good to know because I mainly do that, of course, for myself to not get lost since it's a lot to do.
It helps so much. Like following your code. If I had to follow my code and wouldn't know, it's as bad as my handwriting. Literally, it's so bad. But yours is great.
That's good.
Yeah, very good. Speaking of, the publication just came out at the beginning of this year, I think.
It was end of last year.
End of last
December.
year. First publication together.
Yeah, the first year. Very good. Very happy about that. Yes.
Yeah. So what do we find in that?
Yeah, this publication, it's very interesting. It's about the decreasing size of cells, phytoplankton cells in the Wadden Sea. Yeah. Which it's really interesting because the prediction we did is that the cell size is decreasing a third of the size in 10 years. Has been
decreasing a third in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. And it was very interesting to use the Wadden Sea monitoring data for this work. And we could only use for this analysis, we could only use the German data coming back for the harmonization.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
We could only use the German data for this investigation since the Germans they measured the cells over the years, and the Dutch data we unfortunately could not use since they didn't measure the cell size.
Yeah, exactly.
So this information is lost. Yeah.
But even even the work that you did on the German data, even you had to exclude so many species like Noctiluca and there's
heterotroph.
Yeah, there's so many. The harmonization of data is a pain, and Josie does it so well. It's ridiculous.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long process
Yeah.
to harmonize the data, at least put both German and Dutch data in a place where you could actually compare and use
Josie the Harmoniser. Okay, and then in Salzburg, did you work at a wildlife station there as well? Or?
No,
Okay.
unfortunately not, because they don't have in the region. Is a kind of lack. If you look for wildlife stations in Germany, you see that in the south and also Austria, where Salzburg is, there is a lack of wildlife stations there.
Right. Okay.
Here in the north of Germany, there are some, but in the south and in Austria, there was nothing nearby that I could just do on the weekends.
But you would have.
I would.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is that?
Would, but as we all know, PhD doesn't allow you much to have spare time. And
how did you find that experience? Your PhD experience, was it good or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was good. Again, very challenging since I just started a new field and doing experiments and working with tiny organisms. But gave me a lot of knowledge and basic ecology knowledge, the theoretical background and everything that I could use for different and applied. Because my main goal after the PhD, I really liked the project and everything, but I didn't want to continue in this theory place. Yeah. So the main goal was to apply my knowledge in an applied project.
Oh, and you're doing that very well now.
Exactly.
Yes.
That was a very good fit.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Did it take? How long did it take you, your PhD?
My PhD was 4 years and a half.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, and
did you have funding for the entire time? Or
funding? Yes.
Funding, yeah. Okay, right.
Yes, I did, and fun.
Yeah, and fun.
Fun, but I did. Yes, the money, the funding came from Brazil. That's the Science Without Borders.
Yeah, you told me once that they make you come back to Brazil,
yes.
or you have to go back at some point.
Yeah, that's the deal. They invest in you, right? To do your PhD, and you have to return and stay the same time you spent abroad.
Does your postdoc count, or does it just count for the PhD?
No, just the PhD.
Okay.
The postdoc is a part. It's nothing to do with Brazil. Yeah. I just got. They allowed me, so Brazil allowed me to stay for a postdoc here.
Okay.
And after that, the idea is to return to Brazil.
Okay.
And spend at least 4 years there.
Yeah. 4.5.
4.5. Yeah, that's true.
when do you? So they say for another postdoc you can stay abroad, but then you have to come back.
Yeah, it's always a question of if you have opportunity in Brazil or not, and then you can apply to prolong your stay here, or you can return the investment. So you can also, I could also say, okay, I want to stay here and I will pay back my PhD.
Okay.
4 years and a half.
4.5 years, okay.
Yeah, but after my PhD, I returned to Brazil and I spent there, I don't remember now, I think it was 3 to 4 months. Mm-hmm. So I was already paying back this time.
Okay, that counts. Right.
Yes.
All right. So you can go back every once in a while for like 3 months and then pay it off.
6 months and then return. The winter months.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, winter is grim up here.
Yes.
Okay. Then from Salzburg it took you right here.
Yeah, more or less. From Salzburg, I finished my PhD in March in 2019. Mm-hmm. And in April I came here. And I found a job right away in the aquarium. I was looking for a job outside of academia.
Yeah, okay.
Because
were you a bit tired of academia?
Yes,
okay.
I was very tired.
Okay.
I think people that are doing PhD maybe will understand me.
Absolutely.
I just want to experience something different, and I got a job at the aquarium in Wilhelmshaven. Mm-hmm. Which was very, very great.
So Wilhelmshaven is at the Wadden Sea as well.
Ah, yes, exactly.
So your life takes you back to the Wadden Sea.
Wadden Sea. Yes, was very interesting also to work with marine mammals.
Yeah.
Yeah, with zeehond.
Oh.
Yeah, and we were doing training the zeehond for
What is in English? Seal? It's just
seals.
harbor
Exactly.
seal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
harbor seal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And different thing. We also had a tropical area, which was the one I liked most because it
Oh,
was
of course.
warm.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had affen monkeys and
Oh, and an aquarium.
yeah,
Oh, right.
caiman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, and different birds also.
Mhm.
Very, very nice place.
Yeah. And yeah, that leads me to like the next question. Now that I know that's currently a very contentious topic of zoos for conservation, but you as a basically part-time zookeeper, what do you think of zoos and conservation in zoos?
Yeah, that's a very important topic, I would say. I really agree with zoos, and I think they are very important because if they are involved in conservation, if they are involved in conservation projects. I have some experience, not here. Here I only worked at the aquarium, but in Brazil I had some experience in zoos there where they really were active in conservation programs for example, jaguars or arras.
Parrot?
Parrots.
The parrots.
Yeah, parrots and many different animals. In Brazil, it's really nice that there is this. They combine the efforts, zoos, wildlife stations, and conservationist breeding places or breeding centers. So centers that breed animals only to reintroduce them in the nature and really support nature with these new individuals.
Yeah.
So I think when the zoos are involved in these programs, they are of course very necessary, very important. Plus the education and if they can serve as a place for education.
Yeah, that must be so much effort to like rewild a jaguar or
yes.
How like from birth how do they rewild them over time?
Yeah, it's a very, very, very long process,
Okay.
which with a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
And not only money, but a lot of personal work, of course.
Yeah.
I could say I'm not very sure about jaguar, but I could say, for example, for foxes, if you have a baby fox, I was recently listening to a podcast where they said that a baby fox costs about 80,000 euros. If I translate,
to rewild it,
to rewild it until it grows and until it's ready to be released in nature. So all the effort, because of course the mammals and these animals are very easily imprinted.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you like it gets born in captivity and then you keep taking it outside, or how do you?
No, it's born in captivity, or if you rescue, for example, babies, maybe if the mom is dead and then you rescue some babies, this you have the newborn care, which needs to be a lot of contact. You need to feed them every 3 hours or so. Depending on the animal we are talking about, of course. And then after a while, if they are feeding alone, this feeding process has to be really in distance to humans. You have first you have to build an area where this baby or this animal can grow, because of course you cannot keep in a cage or something like that. You need a place where it looks like a wild place, and you have to feed, and the animal cannot see you if it's a fox, for example. And then there is different ways to release. You have the slow release, or you have the it involves a very, very long process. Very difficult. Also, how to teach the animal who are their predators, because they don't have this from their parents, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big process. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you wanna talk about? We are already at a 40-minute mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just would like to thank you.
Oh, thank you.
That's a very nice initiative.
Yeah.
Very nice thing to.
Yeah, so the idea is to because we've had so many new people come to HIFMB, and I think we can't really see each other because of the COVID restrictions, or we don't really see each other. So I think we should get to know each other, maybe on this way.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's very nice.
And other
very
people
chill.
get to know you too from
Yes.
outside.
That's a very interesting and amazing idea, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to be the first.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for
And
being
I'm
the
looking forward to listen to the others.
Yeah.
To other podcasts.
Me too. Okay, Josie the Harmoniser. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And see you in the next one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Want to dive deeper? Surf over to hifmb.de or follow us on Twitter at HIFMB_OL.